Divine. Delicious. Tasty. Divine. Sugar stars. Divine. 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 Delicious. Tasty. Delicious. Sweet. Tasty. Sweet. Divine. Divine. Sweet. Sweet. Tasty. Sweet. Sweet. Tasty.
that because these homes are so close, that they are all in danger. This wind is really pushing these embers, and as you see, hot spots are popping up everywhere.
Yeah, a handful of aerial resources now arriving on scene, so they are conducting some water drops. Very difficult, though, when you're talking about a fire that's surrounded by homes here. It's almost a miracle that there aren't more than just those 3 involved. You can see that it's a little bit of a game of whack-a-mole as these fires kind of pop up. They try and get the water or get the firefighters in that area, and this is a group of trees right here with 4 homes on each side. There's 2 homes near the top, 2 homes near the bottom, and it looks like something else now going up in flames, very close to maybe a 4th home that could catch on fire here. Just to clarify, if this continues on the other side, it would have to venture downhill, which is not out of the question considering this is a wind-driven fire. There is some light fuel behind this neighborhood here, mostly grass, but light fuel that could catch on fire. And then you have a major road, Kendall Drive, that it would have to jump before there's additional homes threatened. But right now our focus is this neighborhood right here along Edgerton Drive at Skylark.
Well, very disturbing to see that. We see that the hose right there on that fire, trying to perhaps mop it out a little bit, but it seems like a losing battle in that particular home. But we did see those firefighters right up next to those homes with their hoses trying to put it out. But when those hopscotch around that neighborhood, that really makes it tough.
Chris, look at how close those homes are to each other. When you did that long shot there and you pushed in, these homes look like they have 0 lot lines. I mean, they're right up against each other. So when one catches fire, they're all in danger. Look at that. They're basically almost touching in this neighborhood. Plus, what's between them are trees. So there's fuel there to burn. And it's like a worst-case scenario right now. When one of these homes catches fire with the winds burning, there are so many homes that are going to be in danger.
And look at those flames right below that home in those bushes that they're not even aware of yet. But those
they probably can't even see it. You're right, Ellen. You probably can't even see it, and that's an uphill terrain right there. Those flames are going to move quickly through that brush. There's no brush clearance behind that house, and we're going to keep an eye on that because that is clearly another home that's going to be threatened here. Now there's another house catching on fire near the top of your screen. That is, again, also on Edgerton Drive. That's actually a group of trees between that group of homes, I should clarify. But that house, it looks like the one that we first saw on fire, looks like they may have actually managed to contain some of that damage. And it looks like the same is true for that house on the right side of your screen as well. Don't see any flames shooting at the window like we did a moment ago. But clearly, as you mentioned, David, in between these houses are large, is a very high density vegetation area. So lots of trees surrounded by homes instead of homes surrounded by trees in this particular neighborhood.
Yeah, and then we're seeing that happen. Once one thing goes up, everything's in danger because they're all basically touching. Keep that in mind when you look at your own property and see how big the trees are, see if they're touching your property and your neighbor's property, especially if you're in a high-risk zone that could see some wildfires and brush fires, and especially the high winds, because once one thing catches fire, then everything else is in danger. We're definitely seeing that in this particular case.
Right.
And look how close these homes are to each other. There's no brush clearance.
I was going to say, you couldn't even do the brush clearance because they're so close together.
So firefighters have no break between them.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I've never seen homes that large and so close together with all those trees in between.
Yeah.
And it's just like dry tinder. That stuff is going up combustible. Like it's been dry for months now.
It's a tough fight for firefighters.
Not only is it easy for the fire to spread, but also hard for the firefighters to access the fire. You see them shooting and aiming their hoses in that direction on the back over to the right. You can see how they're trying to get water on those flames, but they're having a very difficult time getting close enough to the actual fire in the backyards.
Well, they're doing a remarkable job. We see some white smoke coming up. That was really flaring. It looks to be subduing just a little bit. The fuel is burning up, and hopefully these homes aren't catching fire. There's definitely going to be some damage when it comes to the heat and the smoke. Hopefully that's all it is, and they can keep this from spreading into the other homes. We don't know how many homes have caught fire, but we've seen a handful so far, at least partially catch fire.
Comes a water drop right now.
Yeah, so necessary. And they're dousing these homes and the area between them. That was a great illustration earlier when Chris pushed in on that pine tree, the palm tree, and you could still see those embers flying off that thing. as we speak, those winds are really pushing them, the glowing embers, and that's, I'm sure, what caught these bushes on fire.
Yeah, and it just takes one little ember to travel and just light a bush on fire next to a different house, which is what we've been seeing. It's not concentrated in one little area of this neighborhood.
Yeah, and look how high, this is video on the right-hand side. Those palm trees are so high, so the higher they are, the further the embers are going to blow and move, and so that's a major problem for firefighters, worrying about that, as well as making sure that each structure is protected, and if they catch fire, they can get that fire out.
And this started about 5:15 or so, and started just in the vegetation by the homes, but quickly spread. It got to be about an acre very, very rapidly. And San Bernardino said that they were requesting more additional 5 engines for structure defense and 16 other engines, as far as 2 hand crews. And of course, we've seen the water dropping aircraft, and thankfully they still have some daylight left.
A little bit of daylight. Chris has been watching this firefight in Air 7. You can see how the sun is going down. It is getting darker out there. Hopefully, I imagine, Chris, I did see some law enforcement personnel running through the neighborhood. They're clearly trying to get these homes emptied.
Yeah, that's clearly going to be a priority. As you mentioned, the sun is literally setting as we speak, and there has to absolutely be an effort to evacuate these homes as best as possible. And certainly it would not surprise me if they are going door to door trying to do just that. But clearly, you can see this particular home here, unlike the other 2 that we saw a second ago, certainly appears to be a total loss. Again, that's Skylark on the right side there. So firefighters setting up at Skylark and Edgerton, additional resources on the way out here to help battle this fire and try and keep it to this group of homes here. I really worry about this fire continuing on the other side of Kendall Drive. That would really be a nightmare because the population density just increases from there.
Yeah, and we've seen that one home where the bushes were on fire underneath the home. Have they found that? I guess they're putting some water on there. Is that what we're looking at, Chris?
I'm sorry, Ellen, one more time.
Oh, those flames that were burning in those bushes. I think that's what we're looking at now. Is that right?
That is very close. I think we were looking at the one with the red roof near the bottom left-hand corner of the screen there, but it does look like that bush is still on fire. There is another palm tree now, another palm tree going up in flames. This is a new palm tree that's caught on fire here in the last few seconds, and it just is not getting any better, especially as these winds continue to blow through here.
That was that hillside just prior. Look at those embers. Look at them fly off that palm tree. That is incredible. That hillside, they're hitting that as well because it's still smoldering, and the winds are carrying those embers. So they have multiple places, multiple hot spots within this very small neighborhood that they're having to hit simultaneously, keeping structures protected as best as they can, but they also, super important, to get these trees out and the smoldering brush out, because that is what's causing more fires to break out throughout the neighborhood. It's a big responsibility for them. Hopefully they have enough resources to get control of this.
All right, we're going to stay on top of this video, of course, and keep watching Chris's live shot. But right now we're going to check in with Dallas Raines and get the latest on his forecast and these winds.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. Well, the temperature out there is still very warm. It was a hot day today. Many areas out around San Bernardino were in the low to mid 90s today. Right now it's 86, humidity only 13% with a dew point there, and you can see the winds out of the northwest at 10 are gusting to 24 miles per hour. So again, these are not powerful Santa Ana winds, but they are strong enough, David, that if the fire is started, they can move quickly, as you noted a few minutes ago.
Okay, well, that is disturbing, the fact that we are in for an entire solid week of this. When you showed us the forecast earlier today, I couldn't believe it, Dallas. We're sitting in the mid-90s in Los Angeles,
right,
in late October.
And with no relief until the end of the weekend. So it's going to be a long, protracted time of Santa Ana winds, really elevated hot temperatures. Temperature is going to be 15 to 20 degrees above normal for this time of the year. And really low humidities into Thursday and Friday.
And then, as you said, the winds kicking up. Was it late Wednesday going into
Wednesday
Thursday?
night, late Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday morning at 3 o'clock, there'll be a fire weather watch, which may be turned into a red flag warning. We're just going to wait and see as forecasters, meteorologists.
certainly
because
does.
this is not even the bad conditions.
Yeah, take a look at this.
Not
They're
there
taking
yet.
advantage of this road as a fire break to perhaps keep it from spreading and hopping across that road there.
The winds are pushing, I think Chris said, to the north to south, right? So you can see the direction that the winds are blowing through that smoke right there. So they're establishing a defensive line there, and then over here is that new palm tree that Chris Christie was pointing out. So, so the concern back to Dallas is that this is nothing compared to what we're going to be seeing.
That's right.
Late Wednesday into Thursday, which always concerns us.
That's right. We'll have winds of anywhere between 30 and 40 miles per hour in the middle of the afternoon, where your air temperature will be 95, 96 degrees. Humidities will be running between 8, 9, 10, 11%. So we just hope there are no fires started.
And it will be the usual thing where the sundowner winds, it picks up.
Not so much. Sundowners are mainly up in Santa Barbara.
Good.
This is more of a Santa Ana wind event, Ellen, with north and northeast winds blowing through these canyons. That's the areas that we're most concerned about. In other areas of Southern California, it'll be hot, for instance, like downtown in that area. We won't have to worry as much because generally the fires are started in the canyons. And then they move from north to south or from northeast to southwest. As the fire is started, then the winds will blow the embers in a southerly direction.
Wow, okay.
So be vigilant out there, everybody. You know that the weather is going to be particularly tough this week, and keep your neighborhood safe. Watch them closely. Make sure that anybody suspicious is noted, and also don't be careless when you're dealing with fire or anything that could create a fire.
Yeah, I think in the past there was a fire started from someone doing brush clearance, being warned about it, but not being careful with their equipment.
Right, which is
So,
ironic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's go back to Chris Christie, Air 7 HD, watching this firefight. Chris?
Yeah, David, the firefight continues. You can see LA County Fire, or I'm sorry, San Bernardino County Fire with another water drop here right behind that house that is going up pretty good. Fortunately, the other two homes that we first showed you appear to be not on fire anymore. It appears that they may have saved a good portion, a good chunk of those other two homes. And aside from that palm tree, that little section of flames, this fire is not spreading quite as rapidly as it was just 10, 20 minutes ago. So it looks like some of the largest flames are under control. There's certainly a few hot spots in between the homes, and certainly up that embankment that jumped Edgerton Drive. You can see the little pockets of flames, but the big body of fire has been tamped down quite a bit thanks to these firefighters with no help from Mother Nature this evening. But certainly all eyes are now on this other home here along Skylark and Edgerton as that house continues to go up in flames and certainly threatening the house behind it near the
buckets. Did you see that? Right there, yeah. Those are some residents with
Go
their.
ahead and push in there in the bottom left.
Yeah, we just
Is that
saw
where
some
you're
people
looking,
come.
Ellen?
Yeah,
Bottom
some people
left?
just
Yep.
came out of that house right there with that person with the hose, and they just had some buckets, and so they're still in that house and trying to do what they can. But there you see some people.
At least there's a firefighter
Go
right
back
there.
down to that flare-up, Dad. Looks like it's getting a little bit bigger and starting to get closer to that larger tree there. And it looks like maybe even I see some lights flickering. I'm not sure where that light's coming from. That might be from the helicopter. Yeah, that's from LA County's. I'm sorry, I keep saying LA County. San Bernardino County's helicopter shining a light now as they start to lose sunlight with the sun setting. That helicopter is going to help out with the night sun to try and shine a light on this, and they're probably trying to direct the firefighters in that direction because that group of bushes is certainly a threat to that house. It's moving slowly, but certainly growing as we get through this.
A water drop would be perfect.
Wouldn't it?
right
Yeah,
now
it really would be perfect.
Knock that thing out. So if you're curious on where this is, we put together a map for you. So we're going to pop that up on your screen so you get some idea. We're dealing with San Bernardino. They're calling this the Little Mountain IC. All right, well, I thought we had this map, but we'll get that to you in just a second. Okay, here we go. We're going to push in right here for you. There, if you're familiar with this area,
Looks like,
go ahead,
okay,
Chris.
he's surveying that fire. I would imagine he's going to come back, go ahead, reload, and come back and try and do a drop right there behind that house. That's what I would imagine is going to be his next move here. They're still continuing. As far as I can tell, still only 2 helicopters, Mike? Yeah, we have 2 helicopters doing runs through this neighborhood here. So one by one, I'm not exactly sure where they're getting the water, but there's a nearby reservoir. Okay, there is looks like I'm trying to peek over here. Yeah, there's some a water source just northeast of this neighborhood, and that looks like where those 2 helicopters are actually getting their water. So not too far away. That's why we've seen those water drops pretty consistently since we first arrived on scene. Here comes another one, and it looks like he's going to make the drop right behind that house here.
Yeah, let's see if we
There it
there.
is.
Yep, there you have it.
Well, the wind caught it.
Wow, the
And
wind.
you saw how
that's-
ineffective, a
yeah.
completely ineffective drop thanks to that wind. That wind is just dispersing the water and making it all that more challenging for these pilots.
If you're familiar with this area, this is a West 39th Street and North Severance Avenue. That's basically where this fire is contained right now in this particular neighborhood. And Dallas, they have a battle against them.
They sure do. Now, conditions will improve, Ellen, as we head into the evening. The sun going down, your humidity will go up, and your temperature will go down. But the winds will still be gusty through there. They're not super strong. They're only 10, 15 miles an hour gusts, 24, 25. But you don't need a really strong wind if the fire is around areas where there are homes. So